Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I've got an unboxing to do for you today. This arrived yesterday being the 13th of April, but I don't believe this is out officially until the 18th of April, Monday the 18th. But it is, of course, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, the 4K limited edition Arrow video box set. So yeah, what I will do in this video, I will do an unboxing for it. I'll show you everything that's inside. And yeah, I'll just give you my overall thoughts on this release and whether I think it's worth picking up. So before I do an unboxing, I'll just quickly give you my thoughts and opinions on this movie. This is for anyone who maybe hasn't seen the movie but is interested in giving it a watch. But yeah, it's basically about a guy called Henry, who is a drifter. He moves around from place to place, but he is a serial killer, of course, and a prolific one at that. But at the beginning of the movie, he ends up in Chicago, and he ends up basically shacking up with his old prison buddy, Otis. But around about the same time, Otis's sister, Becky, comes to visit. So it's basically the three of them all living together in this apartment. Otis I think he is aware that Henry is a serial killer, but because he's like his old prison buddy, he doesn't really care. But Becky is not aware of any of this. And as the movie goes on, Otis he gets a bit of a taste for what Henry does, and he wants to kind of learn from Henry and kind of become a serial killer like him. But at the same time, we have Becky, who these feelings start to develop between Henry and Becky. So it kind of causes a lot of conflict in the end, and it all kind of escalates from there. I don't really want to say more than that. But what I will say is that this movie, it is described as a horror movie, but I would say it's more of a psychological crime thriller. It's more interested in kind of going into the mind of a serial killer, more of like a serial killer profile, and looking at those sorts of aspects of it. So if you're expecting like a typical sort of 80s slasher movie, you probably won't get that with this movie. It is more of like a crime thriller that goes into the mind of a serial killer. The violence in it, I mean, I wouldn't say there's that much violence in this movie, but when there is, it is very brutal, very realistic, and quite disturbing in places. And I know for some people this movie is too much to swallow, and I do get that. I think with a lot of slasher movies that came out around the same time as this, I think you kind of go into those movies and they're fun. You have a good time with them because I think they tend to sugarcoat the violence, but the violence in this movie is very real. It's a very honest movie, and I think for the time it came out, it's very sort of pioneering in a way, kind of ahead of its time. We didn't really get many movies like this in the 80s because I think it was mostly slasher movies. I think we do get a lot more movies like this these days. I think I look to things like David Fincher's Mindhunter, the Netflix TV show, very, very similar to this. But yeah, I just think this movie is very ahead of its time and very different and a very honest portrayal of a serial killer. And yeah, I think it's a very, very interesting movie, and yeah, I had a great time with it. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts on the movie. So now I will do an unboxing and I will show you everything that is inside. Right, so here is the box set. So the first thing I'll show you is the J card. We do normally get these with our Arrow releases. So yeah, that's all the special features on the back. I won't list them all off because as you can see, there's quite a lot there. But if you want to pause the video, then please feel free to. But yeah, I noticed there's a lot of features involving the director, John McNaughton. I think there's a brand new commentary by him, brand new interview. I think there's a new documentary that he was involved with. So yeah, it's good to see that he was involved with a lot of the special features for this release. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, that is the front of the box set. Really like that artwork. I think it's fantastic. Here's the back. There's not too much going on the back. I don't know if you can make that out. It's sort of like looks like a wooded area. But yeah, it's pretty basic compared to the front cover. There's the top, the bottom, and then the side there. So yeah, now I'll show you what's on the inside. So here's the Amaray case, and as you can see, I have changed the artwork to the original art. This artwork is obviously on the other side of it. Here's the back. So again, it's just the sort of the special features. So here are the discs. So this is the 4K disc, and then that's the Blu-ray disc, obviously with that that brand new artwork on it. And then we get some postcards on the inside. So I'll just show you these. So here's the first postcard. Here's the next one. And the next one. Here's this one. I hope YouTube don't object too much to that one. Here's this one. And then this one. This guy looks way too happy considering he's got a knife to his throat. But yeah, that's all the postcards. This is the artwork on the back of them, and it's the same for all of them. So yeah, that's all the contents in the Amaray case. So I'll just show you what else we get. So first thing we get here is this booklet, and this is the one I was surprised to see, because we actually get two booklets. Obviously, this is one of two. And this one, it basically has an introduction by the director, John McNaughton, but it's basically like a book full of storyboards for the movie. I thought that was really, really nice, a really cool feature. I was not expecting to see this in the release. So yeah, it's pretty cool. If you've got an interest in any of this stuff, I'm sure you'll find it pretty interesting. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But yeah, so that's the front of it. That's the back of it. And then this is the other booklet that we've got. So this is like your sort of your typical Arrow booklet. Has a lot of essays in it. So we got info on the cast and crew, Henry, the making of low budget classic by Sean Kimber, Henry Lee Lucas, portrait of a real serial killer, Henry by Peter Vronsky, High Art and Dead Women in Henry, portrait of a serial killer by Alexandra Heller Nicholas, Henry meets the BBFC by Julian Petley. And as usual, we also get sort of an About the Restoration section and production credits. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I really like how this booklet looks. I just need to sort of be careful with the images that are in the booklet. I don't want to show anything too grisly or too graphic. But yeah, I just really like the sort of the design they've gone with for this booklet. And yeah, there's just like a lot of sort of interesting essays. So if you're a fan of this movie, then yeah, there's a lot of good stuff to read in here. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then finally, we get sort of a poster, as usual, with the Arrow Limited edition releases. So this is the first side of the poster, obviously that new artwork. And then we get a landscape image for the original artwork. So yeah, that is literally everything you get in the box set. So yeah, really, really nice box set. Really nice, solid case. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Right, guys. So lastly, I will just give you my quick thoughts on the transfer of this 4K disc. I just want to say before I start that I do not consider myself to be an expert in 4K UHD. I'm not that savvy with the technical aspects, so I won't really be able to give you a proper in-depth technical explanation of the movie, but I know what I like, I know what I don't like, so I will basically just tell you what I personally thought of the picture quality. So as I mentioned earlier, Arrow always include a section in the booklet about the restoration, so I will read that out to you now, but I'll also put it on screen for you. But it says, Henry, portrait of a serial killer is presented in its original aspect ratio of 1.33 by 1. So basically that means you will get black bars at the on both sides of your screen, so it will have a sort of a square shape, kind of like, you know, an old TV, and that is with stereo and 5.1 audio. The film was scanned and restored in 4K resolution. The original 16mm camera negative was scanned on an Ariscan. Dirt, debris, scratches and warping were manually removed using PF Clean, and SDR color grading was performed using Baselight. The original stereo mix was transferred from the 35mm magnetic reels at 96K using Magnatech. Digital restoration was performed using Pro Tools HD and Cedar DNS software. The 5.1 mix was created from the ST composite track. What I will say about this transfer is that it's not mind-blowing, but for a movie like this is probably the best you are ever going to get in the way it looks. As it mentioned in the booklet, it was shot on 16mm, so that is kind of the lower quality type of film, because I think the industry standard is normally 35mm. So the movie does have a very low budget documentary kind of look and feel to it. But as I said, for a movie like this is probably the best it's going to look. It's a very grainy image. I mean, it's not excessive, but it is fairly grainy. So if you're not a fan of grain, you may not like the picture. But I think, like I say, because of the type of movie it is, I feel like, it is meant to have it there. And the movie looks the most natural that it's ever looked. Let's put it this way. This is not a movie you're going to put on if you want to, you want to show off your 4K TV. But for the most part, it's a fine picture. It's got good detail, nice grain. It looks very natural in places. I think it benefits mostly from the outdoor scenes. There's a few scenes at the beginning of the movie that are fairly colourful, but I think for the most part, the movie is kind of colourless. It's quite a grey looking movie, but any sort of issues that the picture has, I wouldn't say it's to do with the restoration. I think it's just more to do with the source. It was shot on 16mm. It was a low budget movie. I think it only cost about $110,000 to make this movie. So yeah, I think in terms of a 4K horror movie, you're not going to get the likes of, say, The Shining or even Dawn of the Dead. But for this movie, it's still a fine picture. If you're a fan of the movie, I would definitely recommend picking it up on 4K. You can either get this 4K UHD box set, or you can just get the standard Blu-ray. But I'm pretty sure that'll be a 4K scan as well, just on Blu-ray 1080p. But for both releases, you get the exact same box set, so you get the same artwork, you get all the same contents in there. So yeah, it's just a case of preference, really. Do you want to sort of go to the max and just get the 4K, or just get the standard Blu-ray? I can't really comment on the standard Blu-ray, but I think as far as it goes with Arrow, they tend to be quite similar. But of course, the 4K will be the best sort of upgrade, if you like. So yeah, it's just a case of preference, really. But yeah, it's a fantastic release. Love this box set, love all the contents in it, and there's hordes of special features. So yeah, if you're a fan of this movie, there is a lot more to take in than just the movie. So yeah, I would definitely recommend picking it up. So there you go, guys. That is my unboxing for Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, the 4K limited edition Arrow video box set. I really hope you've enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts. Did you pick the box set up yourself? Let me know. I would love to hear from you. But yeah, I will leave it there. So don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, and I will hopefully see you all again on the next one. So yeah, take care, guys.